Hey, here we go. We're back with another live property finance Q&A, which you could be watching live, or maybe you're picking this up on the replay because it's available for the next 7 days on the replay. So, good morning, welcome, and it's Kevin Wright back with a property finance Q&A, which I do pretty much every Monday, bank holidays and the like aside. And so what do? I just jump on here for 30 minutes or so, usually. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. And answer questions on property finance. So if you've got a question on property finance and something's bugging you, something's frustrating you, something's puzzling you, then fire it in, whether you're coming in through YouTube or LinkedIn or a couple of my property finance Facebook groups. Doesn't really matter. Fire your question in and I'll deal with it. And the commitment I make is I'll never leave until I've answered every question, which is a very fair thing to do. So there we are. Just come back off a pretty intense week myself, actually. So while I'm waiting for some questions, to give you a little bit of idea of what I've been up to and what I'm going to be up to in the week coming. So just come back off it. Pretty full week, really. Finished late last night. Well, reasonably late last night, about 6 p.m. Finished a 4-day BRR, 4-day Ninja Investor program workshop. Had a bunch of people, probably about 16, 18 people, and with me for 4 days. And I gave them everything, and I do mean everything they need to be successful using the buy, refurb, refinance philosophy. And not only that, I'm going to support them. They can fire their deals over to me. I'm going to check them over, and then it's all going to be good from there. So there we are. Just slightly moving the angle of my camera there. So got a question? Fire it in the chat box, which for me is sort of down over there, and I'll have a look at that. And so 4 days. We're down in Stratford-on-Avon, really nice hotel, and some real big insights, real big breakthroughs, real big light bulb moments for people. And that's what I do. I do 4 of those a year. That's the last one. Do 2 in the spring, 2 in the autumn. So we're done now until March. I won't be doing another 4-day workshop until March, but I will be doing some BRR Boardrooms. They're the 1-day starter level that gets you started, gives you sort of, you could call it a discovery day, I suppose. So, hey, got a question? If you logged on now, you've got a question. What is it you want to know? What do you want to know about property finance? Because why would you ask me? Because I've spent over 20 years brokering every type of property finance deal, from simple buy-to-lets right up to multi-million-pound development loans. So I'll almost certainly know the answer. So don't sit there struggling, wondering and frustrating. Got a question? Chuck it in the chat box and I'll answer it. What else was I doing last week? Before the 4 days, which started on Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I was with my 2 mentorship groups there on the Ninja Achievers 12-month mentorship program. So we meet up every 4 weeks, those 2 groups, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and we brainstorm what they're up to. They have some clear goals and objectives for each month. We work through their old ones that they've just done, and we set out their new ones for them. So we did that as well in the Midlands. So, hey, what is it you want to know? So great, we've got a question coming in here now. So let's pop that up on the screen. I like to put it up on screen so that I'll read the question out, but of course you can read it, you can see it as well as listen to me say it, and that works better for a lot of people. Is it worth staying in buy-to-let? That's a really good question. Well, I think you need to approach it with caution, because the Renters' Rights Reform Act becomes law on the 1st of May. Well, it's already law, but it becomes implementing on the 1st of May, 2026. And it will change the way that you interact with tenants. Now, people still live somewhere to live. There's still a massive pressure on somewhere to live. Now, here's what we've noticed. Back in the last decade, typically you'd make around £200 a month rent over mortgage, positive cash flow on a single AST property with a standard buy-to-let. Now, because of the contraction of the private rented sector, in other words, there's less properties to rent, even though mortgage rates are now higher than they were in the last decade, I'm typically seeing from my mentees that they're making £400, £500, £600 a month profit, even just on a single let, so rent over mortgage. So in other words, it's more profitable than it was a decade ago, even if you just do standard buy-to-let. Now, clearly you're going to have to pick your tenant, because the tenant's going to have more rights. You're going to have to pick them with a lot more due diligence. So I think the upshot of this is, and as with all these things, I think it's going to be the law of unintended consequences. It's there to bring a fairer deal to tenants, and there's no harm in that as an outcome. I mean, that's quite a worthwhile outcome. But if it frightens landlords away and the private rental sector shrinks even further, which means there's even fewer supply for the demand that's higher than ever, it just means rents are going to rise. When a tenant leaves and a new tenant comes in, the landlord is quite understandably going to charge a higher rent, because they're going to charge whatever the going rent is for that type of property in that area. So I think the unintended byproduct is a smaller number of properties charging a higher number of rents. And if you think that rents are already too high, and there's an argument that they might be compared to what people's incomes are, this isn't going to help. So now, of course, buy-to-let is just one angle of how you derive rental income in property. Now, so having an AST or an AT, because the short hold is going to disappear and it's just going to be an assured tenancy on a long-term rolling basis. Now, having that type of rental income, whether that assured tenancy is for the whole property or just a room in the property like an HMO, look, it's not the only way to make money out of renting property. You can go on to service accommodation. You can rent like that. That's not covered by the Rental Reform Act. You can do furnished holiday lets. That's not covered by it. You can do commercial or mixed use renting. None of those are covered by the Rental Reform Act. You can do contracts, commercial contracts with organisations that will house certain categories of, I'm going to use the word advisedly, vulnerable tenant. Now, that doesn't mean to say they're, they've got some sort of deficiency as such, but they, and it could be, a refuge for domestic abuse, just to pick one of many things. Now, if you start going down that route, then you're not actually dealing with tenants themselves. You're dealing with the organisation that finds homes for the tenants. So therefore, again, the Renters Reform Act doesn't apply. So you can choose if you want to stay in assured tenancies, or you can still be an investor and landlord, but just do it in a very different way. So is there a future? Now, I'm going to broaden that out because it's a great question, Agua Viva. Is it worth being a landlord? Yes, it is. Might you need to change how you've done it in the past? Yes, yeah, you will, undoubtedly. Even if you stick with assured tenancies, I think you still have to, you're going to have to adapt how you work. But it's, look, we're going right back to Darwinianism here, aren't we? It's not the survival of the fittest or the strongest, it's the survival of the most adaptable. So the most adaptable will find a way to operate in the private rented sector and still make it worthwhile. But a really good question, and I really like it. So thanks for that. And here's John. Hi, John. And hey, remember we're meeting up on Sunday, aren't we, for the Ninja Investor Digital Implementation Day. You came to the last one. You found that quite informative, or very informative, actually, in September. And we're meeting this Sunday with a bunch of the others. I'm going to see you there. So if lots of landlords sell up, there'll be less competition for those that remain. Yeah, true enough. Yeah, which sort of goes with what I was saying just now. And the unfortunate and regrettable consequence of that is that tenants will need to pay more to rent from the landlords that remain. And I've got a lot of sympathy for tenants right now. It's not a great time to be a tenant, to be honest. It's probably not a great time to be a landlord either. So, hey, guys, I'm here for the next few minutes to answer your questions on property finance. So what is it you want to know about property finance? Just whatever it is, what's bugging you, what's puzzling you. Are mortgage lenders behaving in a way that you can't fathom and understand the logic of what they're doing? So we've had a couple of things at the moment, so fire in. Let me answer that question. It's what I'm here to do based on my 20 plus years as a property finance broker. Now, what am I going to do this week? This week's an interesting week. On Thursday at the Marriott in Heathrow, I'm going to be doing my last buy, refurb, refinance boardroom of the year. Now, we've got 7 people booked on that so far, and there are 3 places that remain because we only do 10 places maximum. So we're starting off with a couple of pre-event Zoom sessions in the evening. So I'll do a BRR deal finder session, which really shows you how easy it is to find great BRR deals that you could say are hidden in plain sight on Rightmove and Zoopla, just by using some filters that most people don't know exist, or if they do, they don't know quite how to use them. So we'll be doing that session, and then we'll be doing a deal clinic session after that. So if you're looking to find out, or you're looking to see if any deal that you're looking at right now works on a BRR basis, pop it up on screen in this Zoom session in the evening this week, and I'll just analyze it for you. People find that really, really useful. And then we meet up for a full day of just BRR knowledge and logic. And I've been sharing with people how to make BRR work on an education basis for at least the last 12 years. So I probably know how to make BRR work as good as anyone in the country, and probably better than most. So want to grab one of those 3 spaces for this Thursday, 27th, Heathrow, Marriott Hotel. Go there. Look, there it is, brrboardroom.com. Really simple. I'll pay for your parking all day, and I'll give you a nice lunch as well. And I'll tell you what, the lunch in the Marriott is something to behold. What else am I doing? Well, on Friday, the following day on Friday, I've got my Ninja 100 Club mastermind. So this is some real big achievers to me. They made 6-figure profits from implementing what I taught them on BRR. And we meet up once a quarter, and we're going to meet up not far from Heathrow. And we're going to talk about the deals that they're doing. And we'll have a bunch of honorary members who are experts, industry-leading experts in different things like auctions, tax, quantity surveying, commercial property. What else? RICS valuations. There's a whole load of stuff. So all of that sort of stuff, and we're going to be chatting about their deals, and it's quite a high level conversation. So that's an amazing day. And then Sunday I'll be doing the digital implementation day. So John says, where can you find the details of where the Sunday's meeting is? Yep, need to work out the best route. Yeah, get that, because you'll be coming on public transport. It's in the Ninja Investor Digital Facebook group, which you're a member of. Put it in there. If you look at the event, there's an event thing in there with a photograph of me on stage, on screen. So look in there. But I will post in there as well, and get you you and the rest of the guys to comment that and confirm that you turn up. Pretty much everyone's already confirmed they're going to turn up. And this is your day, John. As you know, you just ask the questions you want and I'll answer them. So that's really good. There we are. So that's this week. And we're really winding down now for Christmas. The only events I do in January are for my Ninja Achievers 12-month mentorship. I'll be having a Tuesday and a Wednesday meeting early in December. Can it be online? I can't be there in person. Yeah, I get that. And by the way, thanks for your interest. We do online meetings, and they run on a Thursday evening. So that's on the Thursday evening, not Thursday day, Thursday evening. It's called a BRR workshop. It runs from 7 to 10 p.m. and it's pretty much the same content. But let me give you a link where you can do that. You can book on. Let's wait for that to come through. I'm just doing that on there. Great, here we go. So Agriviva, there we go. If you want to do the digital version, brrworkshops.com, there it is now underneath my name, somewhere about there. There you go. brrworkshops.com. You can jump on there. If you can register for that, that will be on there. My colleague Melody will be hosting that on Thursday evening, 7 till 10. It's a condensed version, but we realise that not everyone can get to a certain geographical place at a certain time. So for those people that want it online, Agriviva, and that's you. So there we are. We've worked that out, and we give you an option too. So there we are. Remember, brrworkshops.com. There we go. Now, got a question? Hey, Agriviva, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And hopefully Melody will see you on Thursday night. At the moment, we're not doing these, not a big event, so it's going to be really quite tight and small. So you're going to get a lot of attention. If you book on for Thursday night, yeah, you're going to get a lot of attention. So there we are. Or even next Thursday night. So next Thursday night would there'll be one as well. So if you can't make this Thursday night, don't worry. We'll do it next Thursday night because they run every Thursday evening. So all good. And there we are. So I'll see you there. Good, hopefully. Okay, so guys, what do you want to know? Property finance questions. This is a property finance Q&A, and you get to drive it because you ask the questions and I'll just answer what it is that you want to know. So we're rolling round to 9 o'clock, and I say I'll be here for about 30 minutes. And there we are. Now, it may be you don't have a question right now, but you might actually have a question that pops up during the week. And you think, oh dear, I'm only, I've got to wait till next Monday before I can ask that question because it's only once a week. Well, actually, you don't have to, because if you're not already a member, you could join my Recycle Your Cash BRR for Property Investors Group, and we can you can pop a question in there any time of the week, and I'll answer it. So let me just give you a link for that, just in case you're watching this and you're not a member of that group. Just wait for that to load, and then I'll pop it up on screen, because it's nice to be able to see it as well as for me to read it out to you. So there we are. Get on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/Recycle Your Cash, and come and join me and more than 3,000 other people that are also in that group, and they sometimes ask questions. And it's also a great way to keep up to speed with what I'm doing, because I'm always going to post what I'm up to and where I'm going to be in there. So it's a really good way to keep up to date. And anyone can join it. It's a public group. It's not private, and you can join in there. So there we are. I'll continue to drink my tea, and you can tell me what it is that you want to know from property finance. Good. There we are. And then we're back to the BR. I've got the little BRR Boardroom link, which is just about there somewhere. If you want to book one of those last 3 places, and we'll be doing some more in January. Actually, I haven't released the tickets for those yet, but I will do. I don't normally do events in January, but I think, look, here's what I think's happening right now. I think people are nervous about what's going to happen in the budget this week. They're pretty certain it's going to hit them in the pocket, but they don't know in which particular pocket and how big the hit's going to be. So I don't normally run events in January, but I'm noticing that people are just hanging back from actually taking any decisions. And I think businesses are doing the same. Individuals, businesses, we're all just hanging back and not really deciding what we're going to be doing until we know the budget. I saw exactly the same thing last autumn as well, because the budget was on the 30th of October last year, but it was a week later. I've decided that I'm going to run some January events so that people can analyse what the budget, which is this Wednesday actually in 2 days' time, what it means to them in terms of their finances, and if they then feel that they need to get into understanding how buy, refurb, refinance works, then I'm going to give them 4 opportunities in January. So Agraviva says, can you recommend a good accountant for a sell? So I'm guessing that you want to flip a project. Now, I don't know whether you've already bought it, Agraviva, or this is for something you're going to be doing in the future. If you've already bought it, it's a bit too late to influence now. A good accountant for a sell. So what your question there is the most tax advantageous way to set up yourself for trading in buying and selling properties. So if you haven't done it yet, then it's a good way to it's a good thing to do, to work out how to be most tax efficient. Yeah. Now, of course, that will depend on your personal circumstances, of course. Typically for flips, now, don't take this as advice. Absolutely do not take this as advice, because I'm not qualified to give advice on tax issues. I'm not an accountant. But from the accountants I've talked to, most people seem to do it through a limited company. And then you can pay corporation tax on the profits, and you can choose when you want to pay more tax by the withdrawal of salary or dividends. And if you don't want salary or dividends this year, you can keep that money in your limited company. But absolutely do not take that. So yeah, if you want to message me excuse me, if you want to message me privately, now you're coming through YouTube, I'll give you a couple of ways to do that. You can message me through YouTube. Just go back to the home page, and there's a little line of text, welcome to my channel, and there at the bottom, at the end of that, at the right hand side of that, there's a little word called more in bold. Click on that and a drop down menu. You've got my email address there. But let me give you another way you could contact me, which will be through my Facebook page. So let's give you quickly where we can do that. I'm going to just get this link up in the on there on a different screen, cut and paste it, and then pop it in here so you can see it. There we go. So wait for that to pop up. There we are. So facebook.com/Kevin Wright Property. That's another way to message me and then I'll give you some ideas on accountancy links. Yeah, so I do work with 2 or 3 accountants, so I can help you on that. So there we go. Good. So we've rolled around to 9 o'clock. Have we got any more questions? If you've got a question, you're going to have to be quick because I'm going to be going in the next few minutes. And if you've watched this live, thank you for watching it live. If you've come in halfway through and you think, oh, what was the beginning like? Then you can just watch the replay. So whichever way you're coming in now, LinkedIn, YouTube, or my couple of Facebook groups, you can come in and watch it like that. And then you can watch the replay. And if you watch the replay, or if you are watching the replay now, because this is the replay for you, it's the replay. Give me a hashtag replay, so I've understood that you've watched it, and that'll be very good. So hey, what is it you want to know? What questions you want? Because it's going to be quick. And if not, I'm going to be back and do this all again next Monday. I had some good comments there. So, so questions are usually interesting, and so there we are. It looks like we're about done for this week. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for watching the replay. I'm going to be coming back and do it all again next Monday, which I think is what, it'd be the 31st of December, won't it? So 31st. No, it would be the 1st of December. Don't have 31 days in November. So it would be the 1st of December. And we'll be in the countdown to Christmas, won't we? Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to be back next Monday, and we'll do this all again. In the meantime, jump on to, where are we? If you want to contact me, you can do that through joining my Facebook group, or you can do it, you can contact me and send me a private message on Kevin Wright Property on Facebook group, and or you can come and you see, I'm not going quite yet because we've just got a question coming, and so I'm going to deal with that, or a comment. Ajit's coming in through LinkedIn. Hi, Ajit, and thanks for commenting. You see, you think you're just about finished, and someone pops in. And Ajit says, I'm in a JV partnership that's gone bad. Partner has stopped talking to me. Yeah. I wish I could say, first of all, my sympathies with that, Ajit. And it's not a nice position to be in. I wish I could say, well, that's unusual. JVs are normally wonderful. And you'd think, you'd actually think they are wonderful, because if you listen to a lot of property chainers, they're really bigging up JVs and saying JVs are the way to go, you know, get together with other people. You've got more to talk about. I'm sure you have. But JVs, guys, if you're watching this, JVs are not the big be all panacea answer to properties that trainers tell you they are. They're absolutely not. They are most often a nightmare, and you end up having to go to court to sort them out, to unpick them. And it's an absolutely false premise that trainers peddle, property trainers peddle, even some of the big ones, that the answer to getting moving forward in property is to joint venture with someone else. You are throwing yourself into business with someone that may not share the same ethics, values, and beliefs that you do. And I do the absolute reverse. I do not promote JVs as an answer whatsoever, and I caution very strongly for you not to do them unless you do an incredible amount of due diligence on the person or persons you're getting involved with, because the probability, and I'm going to be very clear on this, the probability is it's going to end up like Agit, where the relationship falls apart. So you've got 80% of the cash invested and the partner's got less than 20%. Okay. Now, you probably didn't do this, Ajit, but a sensible way to set that up was that because you're putting 80% of the cash in, you have the majority of shares, whether you have 80% of the shares or 60% or certainly a majority. Now, if you just went for the standard, oh, well, we'll do it 50-50, you've really undermined your position, because you should have, if you're putting the most of the cash in, you should have the majority of the say, unless you're a passive investor, you're not doing anything else, and the other partner is doing all the work. And then there's a division of responsibilities, if not a division of a fair division of cash. So this is going to I wish I could say there's going to be a good outcome for this, Ajit, but I fear there isn't. This is going to be a painful lesson when you do extricate yourself from it, and you may need to take court action to do so. But when you do extricate yourself from it, you're certainly almost certainly going to lose some of that cash. I thank you for posting. So here we are, got a bit more on it. Okay, you've got an HMO. You've been letting. JV partner's gone quiet, and you can't rent the vacant room. Okay, not quite sure why you can't rent the vacant room, unless so you've asked the partner to transfer the management to management agency, but partner not cooperating. Okay, so you'd read on that the partner is actually doing the actual hands-on management and letting the rooms, and it seems that they're not going to do that, and now they don't want to give up the managing the HMO. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation. Now, probably, unless you can afford to buy out that JV partner, you may need to sell the property, and selling the property might really be the only viable way of getting out of this JV. And as I say, it's a very salient warning to, if you're watching this, take heed, because Ajit's situation is by no means unusual with joint venturing. As I say, a lot of property trainers really big this up And I think it's incredibly irresponsible of them to do so, because joint venturing is by no means a walk in the park. When you've got different people with different ethics, values and beliefs. So you may actually need Ajit to get an accountant to pick this apart. That might be a way that you can unravel the situation. Okay, you can't buy the partner out because you're in an LLP. Okay, now, why would you choose to do an LLP, I wonder? Because that's not a straightforward way of doing it. It certainly isn't what mortgage lenders want to see. So you would have limited your choice of mortgage lenders. Now, I'm going to take a guess. You've been on a training course and they told you to do it in an LLP. Yeah. And they gave you one side of the coin, which is, here's why you're better, let's say tax-wise, doing it in an LLP, without giving you the other side of the coin of, here's the dangers of doing an LLP. Yep. Unfortunately, sometimes you just, life is about understanding, and making mistakes and then learning. This is just, I'm sorry that to read all this, Ajit, but it's just a classic case of property investing gone wrong. And that is, it involved too much paperwork to buy out the partner. We'll have to sell at a loss as the refurb has gone over budget. There you go. There's another thing, underestimating the cost of the refurb. It's almost a case of what could have gone wrong has gone wrong. And, this is a classic case of believing the hype and, quite frankly, the BS that some property trainers teach about how easy it is to do a property deal and make money. Yep, I knew it. I absolutely knew it. It's a semi-commercial, and yes, the training institution advised that. Yep. So whoever you did some training with, they said, hey, let me guess how this went. Hey, the money's in the room, or the people are in the room. So if you've got the deal but you haven't got the money, joint venture with someone in our training, and you'll make a load of money, and it'll be wonderful. And this is the way to get involved in property. And it's tax efficient to set it on a limited up in a limited liability partnership. And I'm guessing somewhere in there, because it's semi-commercial, you've got capital allowances that are planned. So you can maximize your capital allowances on the semi-commercial, and all of that is because Ajit, mate, it's really sad to see, but you just swallowed the bullshit, hook, line and sinker. Excuse me. And having given you this invalid information, and having you in good faith followed up with it, then you're now stuck with this, and it's got, I think I'm going to say, tough that may be, bite the bullet, and take it as a tuition fee, if you like. So you're working out how much the loss will be in order to buy your partner out. Okay. Could you buy your partner out? I'm just going back to what you were saying here, saying you can't buy your partner out because it's in an LLP. You'd like to talk more, but too much. I bet you could write an essay on this. Ajit, I bet you could write an essay on this. You have my greatest sympathies, really you do. But when I've seen these before, there isn't a good outcome. there's only the least worst outcome. Okay, well, I'm gonna take that down. We don't want to be putting your number up there. So just realise what before I click that up. But I will write it down. But I didn't realise you had your number on there, so we don't want to be putting that on there, really, do we? So I took that down pretty smartest. So let me just write that down. You can write a book, not an essay. Oh yeah, I well believe that. And CJ said, sorry for Ajit. Yeah, me too. Really, has my sympathies. Just checking I've made a note of that number. Okay, Ajit, I've got your call. I've got a pretty full-on day today, but I'm not sure what I can do to help you, but there we are. So yeah, I mean, look, if this doesn't prove terminal, Ajit, you've just had a very serious lesson in how not to do property. But I've had great success in people in showing people how you do property, and it's avoiding some of this BS, like LLPs and joint ventures and all that sort of stuff. Thank you, CJ. So glad I came across you before getting sucked in. Yeah, I mean, these are people like Ajit. They're not stupid people. They're not unintelligent people, but they just believe what they're told, and what they're told is often wrong. Oh, Ajit, it gets worse, mate. It gets worse. This is about your previous tragedy at a property training institution where you lost a lot of money there as well. Dear, oh dear. Guys, this is dangerous stuff. You have to be really, really careful about who you believe and who you trust in property, because it all sounds great in a classroom. But the reality out there in the world is that, it's nowhere near as simple as people make out. Now, I wish I could say you're an isolated case. I honestly, I really do feel for you. I wish I could say it's an isolated case. You're not. I'd say at least 50% of people that turn up to one of my BRR boardrooms, like I'm running this week. There you go. There's the link here somewhere. At least 50% of the people that turn up at those events have had maybe not quite as bad of experience as you, Ajit, but certainly they've lost money on training that didn't work. And do you know what? And I'm going to be really honest here. The most common thing that someone says to either me personally or my team at events is, Kevin, I wish I found you first. If I'd found you first, it would have saved me an awful lot of money. Which is essentially what CJ said here. So glad you came across me first before getting sucked in with other training. So a solicitor lost you money. You spoke about it in the past 2 years ago. Did you? Okay. All right. I do speak to an awful lot of people, Ajit, so I don't actually remember that conversation. But, honestly, you have my sympathies. And look, now it's probably not the right time for you to jump into coming along to one of my events, but once you've sorted this out and once you've got yourself back, if you want to start making up the losses that you've had, and it's really unfortunate that you've had those losses, but if you want to start making those losses up, then come along to some of my events. Actually, I tell you what, there is an event that you come along to, Ajit. It's not a training event, and there's nothing to buy. There's no training to buy on that event. It is a pure networking event. And I don't know whereabouts you are in the country, Ajit, but if you can get to Heathrow on Saturday the 10th of January, it's my 100% pitch-free networking day. I wasn't going to talk about this at this point. I was going to tell people about this in future ones, but I will put this up now. I'm going to put you up a link. Always check the spelling. Here we go. So book yourself on to Ajit. I'd really like to. Okay, you're in the Midlands. Okay, fair enough. Popping up there, in the Midlands. Okay, look. Put the 10th, Ajit. I'd really like to see you, and we can chat this out. And I'd like you to meet some people in a non-pressured, non-sales environment that have had a different experience with training than you've had on 2 occasions. Both your occasions have gone bad. I'd like you to be a bunch of people. There'd be probably 40, 50, 60 people there. Most have had some training with me, but not all. There'll be some people like yourself. Come along and just spend a day. It'll be I've got a couple of mentee case studies there as well. People that have in fact, there's one that's just won an award, Nilesh Rathi, for property deal of the year, and we're going to be unpicking his deal and how he won an award. And there's another guy called Paul James. He's just done a all cash out plus 22 grand by a refurb refinance deal using exclusively what I've trained. So they're going to be picking apart those deals, and you can spend all day chatting to people that are at various stages of their property journey. Some are just starting out, some have done a couple of deals and made them work, and others will be quite experienced. But look, if you can make it, Ajit, I'd really love to see you at that event. I think it'd give you another picture on how property can work, and you see people that are making property work, and come and chat to them. You'll have 5 hours of networking, long 2-hour lunch, big networking breaks in the morning and afternoon. So I think that you need to feel a bit better about property than you're feeling right now, because you've had some real rough experiences, and I really, it takes a bit of courage, and I applaud you for this to come out publicly. I mean, this is not like announcing it to millions of people, but you're still popping up on a feed and saying, hey, things haven't gone well for me, and that takes a certain amount of courage. So I applaud you for that, because the easiest thing to do is just slink away and just never show your face again. But you haven't done that, so fair play to you. And anyone else that wants is watching this, either live or the replay, and you just want to find out, and maybe you've had a bad training experience as well, and it's way more common than it should be. People shouldn't have all these bad experiences and lose money just because they invested in some property training and followed what the trainer told you to do. So come along to pitchfreenetworking.com. Again, it's the full title is 100% pitch free conference. Why is that? Because there are no pitches to buy training, and you have my hand on heart guarantee. You will not be asked to invest in training. You will not be pitched property training on that day. It's purely networking, and it's a feel-good event to start. Excuse me. To start the year off, Saturday the 10th of January. Love you to come along, and okay, you're probably about a couple of hours away. but it's in Heathrow. It's at the Marriott Heathrow. So you can drive down there. All day parking is paid for you, Ajit. So hope that is okay. Well, it's you've certainly extended the this broadcast, because I was ready to go probably about 15 minutes ago, but there we are. So thanks for sharing your experience, Ajit, painful though it is. And if you can get along to a BRR Boardroom and grab one of those last 3 tickets this Thursday 27th at the Marriott Heathrow, just go to brrboardroom.com. You've got the thing. So I'm going to sign off now. And yeah, if you've watched this, do feel free to leave a comment. As it says, okay, yeah, really do, mate. I'd really love to see you. And we'll, you never know who's in the room. You might find, if you chat to enough people, you might find someone that can think of an angle that you can utilize to make it a less painful experience for you. Hey, you're going to have 40 or 50 people to talk to, and you'll have a whole day to talk to them. So you should be able to get around almost everyone in the room and get their opinion. And actually, if you do come, I might give everyone a heads up. I'll do a bit of a, I'm not going to put you on the spot and tell me if you don't want me to do this, but I might say, Ajit's had a bit of a bad experience, JV, semi-commercial, limited liability partnership. It's not working out well. Anyone got any ideas? And then that'll alert people to come up and talk to you if they feel they've got an angle that you can go for, Ajit, and be my absolute pleasure to do that for you. So there we are. But yeah. So if you've watched this and you were today and you thought, I'm going to find out more about property, I'm going to find out how I can make my way in it. Well, it's been a salutary lesson that you have to be very careful about how you don't make your way in it, because it can bite your ass quite severely. So doing property is great. Doing it right is even more great. There we are. So I'm going to wrap up, and I'm going to have a good week because I've got BRR Boardroom. I've got a meeting with some of my most successful mentees, and I've got a meeting with my Ninja Digital people on Sunday, who are again just starting to find their way in property. So two ends of the spectrum, really. On Friday, people that are already massively successful. On Sunday, people that want to be massively successful. And it'd be my honour, privilege to help them on their way and celebrate what the people that are already successful doing. So there we are. I'll be back next week, and we'll see what we do from there on. So there we are. Have a great week. See you next week.